No one in that crowded diner noticed the small boys shaking hands. No one, except the last man anyone would expect. Leather jacket, heavy boots, a skull stitched across his back. The boy never spoke a word, but when the Hell's Angel saw his silent signal, everything changed. Before this story ends, you'll understand why the entire room went silent in seconds. If stories where one moment flips an entire life pull you in, hit subscribe now, because this one will stay with you long after the screen goes dark. The bell above the diner door rang like it always did, sharp and ordinary, the kind of sound people stopped noticing after a while. It was early evening in a small town off Route 66, the kind of place where strangers stood out and routines ruled everything. Families filled booths, truckers lined the counter, and a tired waitress moved between tables with practiced speed. In the corner booth sat a man most people avoided looking at for more than a second. His leather jacket creaked when he moved. His beard was rough and gray at the edges, and the patch on his back told a story no one wanted to ask about. He was a Hell's Angel, and everyone in the diner knew it. Across the room, a little boy sat stiffly at a table near the window. He couldn't have been more than 8. His feet didn't touch the floor, and his eyes kept drifting toward the door, then back to man sitting beside him. The man wasn't his father. That much was obvious. His hand rested too tightly on the boy's shoulder, fingers pressing down just enough to remind him not to move. The man's smile was wrong. Too wide, too quick to vanish when anyone looked his way. The boy had learned not to cry. Crying made things worse. He had learned not to speak unless spoken to. Words could be twisted. But it also learned something else. Something his mother once taught him during a night when sirens wailed outside their apartment and fear filled the room like smoke. She had told him that if he ever couldn't speak, if he ever felt unsafe and couldn't say why, there were other ways to ask for help. So the boy lifted his hand. It was small, barely noticeable, his thumb tucked into his palm. His fingers folded slowly, deliberately, one over the other. A quiet signal, a silent plea. Most people missed it. The waitress didn't see it as she refilled coffee cups. The families were too busy talking. The truckers were focused on their plates. Even the man gripping the boy's shoulder didn't notice. But across the diner, the Hell's Angel froze mid-bite. His name was Marcus Kane, though very few people use it anymore. To most of the world, he was just another outlaw biker, another hard face with a harder past. But Marcus had a daughter once. A little girl with bright eyes and hands that always fidgeted when she was nervous. He had taught her that signal too. Marcus slowly set his fork down. At first, he told himself he was imagining things. He hadn't slept well in days. The road did that to you. But then the boy did it again, slower this time, his eyes flicking up for just a second, meeting Marcus's across the room. There was no mistaking it. Fear like that couldn't be faked. Marcus leaned back in his seat, studying the scene without moving too much. Years of survival had taught him how to watch without being seen. The man with the boy kept scanning the room, restless, tapping his fingers on the table. He looked like someone waiting for something, or someone worried about being found. Marcus's jaw tightened. People thought men like him only knew violence. They were wrong. He knew restraint. He knew patience. And he knew when a moment mattered. He caught the waitress's eye and lifted his coffee cup slightly. She walked over, cautious but professional. "Another refill?" she asked. "Yeah," Marcus said calmly. "And what's the deal with the kid by the window?" The waitress glanced over. "Don't know. Guy came in with him about 10 minutes ago. Didn't order much. Kid hasn't touched his food." Marcus nodded. "You know them?" She shook her head. "No." That was enough. Marcus waited. He watched as the man leaned closer to the boy, whispering something that made the child flinch. He watched the boy's hand curl again under the table, hidden now, but still pleading. Marcus stood up. The room changed instantly. Chairs creaked as people noticed him rising. Conversations dipped. You could feel the tension ripple outward. A Hell's Angel didn't stand up in a diner unless something was about to happen. Marcus walked slowly toward the counter, then past it toward the restroom. As he passed the boys' table, he let his knuckles brush the edge casually. "You dropped this," Marcus said quietly, letting a folded napkin slide toward the boy. Inside the napkin was nothing. No note, No number. Just the briefest acknowledgement. I see you. The man with the boy stiffened. You got a problem? He snapped. Marcus stopped, turned, looked him up and down. The silence in the diner thickened. No, Marcus said evenly. Just clumsy. He continued to the restroom, heart pounding but face calm. Inside, Marcus locked the door and pulled out his phone. He hadn't planned to get involved. Plans didn't matter now. He dialed a number he hadn't used in years. Sheriff Collins. A voice answered. Marcus exhaled. You still owe me for that mess outside Flagstaff. There was a pause. Kane. Yeah. Another pause, heavier this time. What do you want? There's a kid in Miller's diner. Something's wrong. I'm not sure what, but it's bad. Silence again. Then, on my way. Marcus hung up. When he stepped back into the diner, the man with the boy was standing now too, tugging the child's arm. We're leaving, the man said too loudly. The boy's feet dragged as he was pulled from the booth. His eyes locked on Marcus again. His hand twitched. Marcus moved. He didn't rush. He stepped into their path just enough to block the door. Problem? Marcus asked. The man sneered. Move. Marcus didn't. I said move. The man repeated, his grip tightening. That was when the boy finally spoke, his voice barely a whisper. Please. The word hit the room like a drop plate. Marcus's eyes hardened. Let him go. For a moment, no one breathed. Then the man laughed, sharp and nervous. Mind your business. Marcus leaned in close, his voice low enough that only the man could hear. You don't want to do this. Something in Marcus's tone broke the man's confidence. His eyes darted toward the windows, the door, the people watching now. Then sirens wailed outside. The man shoved the boy forward and bolted, crashing into chairs as he ran. He didn't make it far. The sheriff's truck screeched to a halt, deputies pouring out. The boy stood shaking in the middle of the diner. Marcus crouched in front of him, careful, gentle. You did good, he said softly. The boy's lip trembled. I remembered. Marcus nodded. Your mom taught you right. Later, they learned the truth. The man wasn't family. He had taken the boy from a bus station 2 states away. No Amber Alert yet. No reports. Just a missing child in a narrow window. That night, the diner went back to normal. Plates clinked. Conversations resumed. But no one forgot what they had seen. The Hell's Angel finished his coffee and left without a word. The boy went home, and the people who witnessed it learned something they never expected. Sometimes help doesn't look safe. Sometimes it doesn't look friendly. Sometimes it looks like leather and scars and a past you'd never guess. But when a child asks for help without a word, the right person will hear it. If this story moved you, tell us in the comments from which part of the country you're watching this video.